In my 30 years at the Bureau, I've seen everything, but I've never seen a clue that defied time itself until the Seattle job. November 14th, 1985. An armored car vanished from the grid for 20 minutes. When we found it, it was parked on 4th Avenue. The engine was running. The doors were locked from the inside. There was no sign of a struggle, no blood, no bullets. $3 million in cash, gone. The guards vanished into thin air. The only thing left behind was sitting on the dashboard. It was a gold pocket watch. 19th century craftsmanship, pristine condition. It didn't belong in 1985. It had stopped exactly at midnight or noon. We didn't know, but it wasn't the time that froze my blood. It was the engraving on the back, a date, but not a birthday or an anniversary. It read November 14th, 2025, a date that was 40 years in the future. We ran the serial number. The watch didn't exist. The manufacturer had gone out of business in 1902. No fingerprints, no DNA. It was as if a ghost had placed it there, a ghost from the future. And the guards, Frank Miller and John Doe, good men, family men, they didn't just run off. We searched every inch of Seattle, airports, train stations, shipping docks. They were gone. Some of the guys in the lab started joking about time travel. I laughed it off until we got the lab results. The gold in the watch case contained trace isotopes that shouldn't exist, isotopes created by nuclear fusion. That's when I knew this wasn't a robbery, this was a warning, and the clock was ticking. 3 days in, and we had nothing, just a radioactive watch and a headache. The physics didn't make sense. The lab boys said the gold isotopes could only be created in a cold fusion reactor, technology that was still science fiction. Then a witness came forward. Old homeless guy named Silas lived in the alley where the car was found. Silas claimed he saw the whole thing. He said the truck didn't drive there. He said it fell out of the sky. He described a blinding blue light, a sound like thunder but silent, and a man in a silver suit. He said the silver man opened the back, took one bag, and then vanished in another flash, just one bag. My partner wanted to commit him, said he was hallucinating, but something about Silas's fear felt real. I went back to the alley. I checked the spot where Silas said the man stood, and there it was, a perfect circle of fused glass. The pavement had been heated to 3,000 degrees instantly, vitrified. I rushed back to the station, and that's when the watch started moving, but not forward. The hands were spinning counterclockwise, faster and faster. A high-pitched whine filled the room. Then slam! It stopped. The date window clicked. It didn't say 2025 anymore. It said 1955. 1955, the year my father disappeared. Suddenly this wasn't just a case. It was personal. I pulled the file. 1955. A scientist named Dr. Eris Thorne vanished without a trace. Thorne was brilliant, dangerous. He was working on experimental propulsion for the government, Project Kronos. One night his lab burned down, blue flames. No body was ever found, just a crater. I looked closer at the photo of Thorne, on his wrist. It was the watch, the same engraving, the same scratch on the bezel. It was a match. The watch in our evidence locker belonged to a man who died 30 years ago. I went back to find Silas, our witness. I was too late. We found him in the alley, dead. The coroner said it was natural causes, old age. But Silas was 40. The body we found looked 90. He had aged 50 years in a single night. I went back to my office to think. Then the phone rang. I picked it up. There was static, and then a voice I hadn't heard since I was a boy. "Stop looking for the watch, son." It was my father. He sounded exactly the same as the day he left. "Dad?" I screamed. "Where are you?" The line crackled. "I'm in 2025, he said, "and they're coming for you." "They're coming for you." The line went dead. I looked out the window. Black SUVs, no plates. They weren't bureau. They weren't even military. They moved like machines, silver armor under trench coats. I grabbed the watch. It was the only thing that mattered. I ran for the archives, the back exit. They were fast. They fired weapons I'd never seen, silent pulses of blue energy that vaporized steel. I hit a dead end. The vault. I was trapped. I could hear their boots on the concrete clicking, synchronized. The watch burned my hand. It was glowing, vibrating. The air around me turned freezing cold. Then I saw my reflection in the chrome vault door. The fear, the desperation, it looked familiar. Xylus, the witness. He described a man in a silver suit, a man who appeared out of nowhere. I wasn't running from them. I was running to the beginning. I had to save my father. I had to close the loop. I pressed the stem of the watch. The world dissolved into white light. The pain was excruciating. When the smoke cleared, I was gone. The only thing left on the floor was the watch, waiting to be found, waiting for me to find it, to start the mystery all over again. The clue I could never explain was me.